aka Shem Blanco on the game, aka old head watching these videos, and man, we gotta get into this Andor talk, man. Like, and I would like to formally apologize for not finishing each episode like I normally do, man. But the sports side of my channel's been taking off and stuff like that. And to be honest, you know, I put a lot of time and effort into these videos, and nobody really was watching. You know, I'm not a big YouTuber, so uh, I got to allocate my time on what I'm gonna do. So I didn't finish up doing each individual show, but don't take that as I didn't enjoy the show. The show was magnificent, man. Oh yeah, if you guys like this content, man, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, ding ding, to get all our latest videos. We're about to get into this talk, man. Hold on, I'm about to put up the Twidget too, because if people come in, we're gonna talk about it. I need real Star Wars fan talking though, man. I don't need no Johnny come latelys, man. I'm gonna ignore you if you say some foolishness, even more so than sports. All right, so you know what, man? We got this, and you can see me all big and stuff like that, man. I gotta do this proper justice, man. Let's go. Let's get it, man. Let's jump in the Millennium Falcon. Let's ride out. All right, Andor. Now, seeing a lot of Andor slander online, man. I just don't understand why. I don't understand why there's Andor slander, especially when this show is so well written, man. Like, it's so dang on well written. And I thought that a lot of the problems and the issues that Star Wars fans had with recent Star Wars stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi show, the whole entire sequel trilogy is poorly written and not really following a good path, and the storytelling was piss poor at best. We all look back and we all like this movie right here. When it came out, everybody was like, "Oh, Star Wars is back." This movie right here, yeah, The Force Awakens. I was the same way. I fell for the Kool-Aid. Um, One big fan service piece rehashing the Death Star battle, and you kill Han Solo, and Luke didn't even try to, come and save Han. So y'all just let Han die for no reason, which I wasn't upset about then because I thought that they were paid it off. But then they made this movie, and then that's when the fan base turned on Lucas, well, Disney Lucas. And The Rise of Skywalker is one movie that I can't even fathom. I can't even stomach to watch. It's the only Star Wars movie that I do not own. That and Solo, I think. Those two Disney properties are the only thing that I don't own in the physical form because they disgust me. But anyway, so that's the type of fan that you are hearing from right now. You feel me? Vader all day, every day. Uh, what's this? The whole saga, 1 through 3. I mean 1 through 6. And one of my personal favorites, Rogue One. So I'm a Rogue One fan. Let it be known. And while a lot of Star Wars fans only watch that for the Vader scene at the very end. I love how, unlike recent in the trilogy, the new sequel, excuse me, the sequel trilogy, uh, Rogue One felt closer to the original trilogy to me. How grungy it was, how everything felt so lived in. You know what I'm saying? Um, that's one thing that took me out with the prequels at first. Though I've grown to love the prequels now, you know what I'm saying? And later on, when I start watching Clone Wars, and once those came out, because I don't look at the prequels as just their own separate thing. I look at the prequels and Clone Wars as the entire prequels. You feel me? So when you ingest all of that with Clone Wars, with Rebels and stuff like that, it makes it so much better. So much better. So when I looked at this show, man, I was like, man, I love Rogue One for the story. I loved it because it was showing the rebellion, you know what I'm saying, from the ground level when you don't have Jedi and Sith, magic wizards and, you know, the Force and all this, that, and the third. It was common folk, you know what I'm saying? And you had this shady spy that named Cassian Andor that basically was there to shepherd this chick. Well, her dad helped build the Death Star and built a flaw in it. So we saw that story and how it ended, and ultimately they died to the Death Star, but they got the plans to the princess, and she got away. And then you saw that Vader scene as one of the most iconic scenes in Star Wars history now. But I love the story of it. So we're about to go into this Andor, man. Andor, to me, is like reading a Timothy Zahn Thoron book. How intricate it is. That's how well written that show is. That show is literally like the House of Dragons of Star Wars. And it may be too adult for people since mm, it's not on the fantasy side. It's really more realistic. Now, a lot of people said, oh, it felt cyberpunk. It felt, you know what I'm saying, Blade Runner-ish. And it felt like that a little bit at the beginning. But that was just, you know, it was in a different outpost. You know what I'm saying? And when you see Cassian and he's just basically forced to kill these two shady security guards, and that's when everything pop off. You know, you got Korn, who was a security guard who was obsessive with trying to figure out this murder on his watch because a murder happened on his watch to his fellow people. Uh, and to me, he's probably the weakest part of the story. But again, it all ties to Deirdre. You know what I'm saying? Later on, this show is so good, man. Like I can't even really explain. I'm gonna try to explain it to you guys the best I can. Yeah, like I said, man, it's like reading. It's like watching a Timothy Zahn. Like when I'm reading Timothy Zahn's, like Aftermath, or if I'm reading his Thoron books, it's like watching a graphic novel. Uh, yeah, maybe I should have just streamed it all as one, like the trailers and stuff like that. But my wife made these great thumbnails, so I didn't want to waste them. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to do individual to see how they would track because I know that my sports, uh, my sports videos do get the most traffic. But I had to talk about Andor, man. I stopped doing the shows because I did a lot. I'll go through and write down everything, get a note, and read it off. You know what I'm saying, beat for beat. And people really weren't watching it, so I just said, okay, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but once it finished, I was going to do a review of the entire season. And man, this show is wonderful, man. Like, it's really, really well thought. is written the best, and it's by far the best acting. Period. Point blank. It's the best acting in Star Wars. Period. Nothing compares to it. Not Empire. Not Revenge of the Sith. There's no acting better than this. There's no script written better than this. There's not. There's not. Now, if you want to say, well, it doesn't follow the traditional beats of Star Wars with the Jedi and Sith and stuff like that, that's the Skywalker trilogy. For Star Wars to grow, we need to move away from the Skywalker trilogy. Now, yes, this is a part of it. This is a prequel to a prequel. You know what I'm saying? But it shows you another aspect of the Star Wars universe. It shows you why people rebelled against the Emperor. No one knew he was a Sith. That's not why the rebellion happened. The rebellion happened because the Empire just took over everything. Everything. You feel me? So it wasn't like everyone knew he was a Sith Lord. No. They thought he was a regular politician that came into power that helped win the Clone Wars that he set up in the first place to get the people to give him the power to make a clone army, because he knew he needed a clone army to wipe out the Jedi. Get that clone army, gain the trust of the Jedi to work alongside with them for years, and then at one moment, Order 66, man. Order 66 is the mother, boy. But anyway, back to Andor, man. So we get to see the inner workings of the Empire, of the security forces, how they handle things, and how the rebellion started, man. Skarsgård with his portrayal of Luthen, man. Excellent. Excellent work. They didn't reveal that he was a Jedi, but I think it was episode 3 or 4, when he finally got Cassian off of Ferris and took off. He said, "I got a job for you," and then hold this kyber. And basically, he gave him a kyber crystal, a blue kyber crystal. Now, at first, I was like, "All right, whatever." But then later on, when he's going to see Saw Gerrera, where Saw Gerrera was better in this show than he was in Rogue One. And then they frisked him, and he had a hilt, a wooden hilt, that he never ignited, but I think that was his lightsaber hilt. I really think that Luthen is a Jedi, but they did not, for the purpose of the show, to stay grounded in the grounded level of the rebellion started. He never ignited the lightsaber. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Because, oh yeah, Zach, you gotta watch the last episode, bro. I'm sorry, you might want to get away from this, man, because I'm about to get into heavy spoilers. Because I gotta explain to people how refreshing this show is. And unfortunately, the fandom is so broken apart now that, you know what I'm saying, they hate Kathleen Kennedy. They pretty much hate everything that come out on Disney Plus. When you have something like Obi-Wan that was just bleh, it wasn't horrible, but Obi-Wan should have been what Andor is. Obi-Wan was a bunch of fan service. Some of the best fan service now, don't get me wrong. Some of the best fan service I've seen. But the story was so bad. And you could tell that it was a movie that was stretched out and changed into a TV show. You know what I'm saying? And then when I heard the original treatment from the guy who wrote the original script for Obi-Wan. He said, man, they were gonna have Commander Cody go find Obi-Wan on Tatooine and then sneak up on him, and then that's how you're gonna find out that he wasn't one with the Force. And then Cody gonna go through a certain little training things that they did with the Jedi to keep them on their toes. Then he would get back on his feet and get his Jedi reflexes before he goes out. And then it wasn't a whole bunch of Inquisitors. It was just Reva, and she was hell bent on getting Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan left them, and she didn't know that Vader was Anakin Skywalker until Obi-Wan told her that. That was the original script, but they changed it and flipped it, and they just, it could have been 4 episodes, and they just, well, the best thing about that was baby Leia. You know what I'm saying? Not the running scenes, but just the actress that they got for her. She felt like Carrie Fisher, the younger version. So I loved her. You know what I'm saying? Didn't like the running scene when a Jedi couldn't catch a little girl running, you know what I'm saying, gingerly through the forest or in the city, but whatever. Andor took so much time to develop every character, man. Like from Marva, his stepmother who rescued him from his planet. You know what I'm saying? When he didn't speak basic English. It just showing the separatists coming down where they were strip mining his planet down probably for items for the Death Star and stuff, as we saw at the end of in the post credit scene, what they were building. But yeah, man, this show is so awesome, man. Like I swear this is like watching a graphic novel of Star Wars, man. I love the aftermath. You know what I'm saying? Timothy Zahn aftermath, the Thrawn books. You know what I'm saying? I got those. I love them. You know what I'm saying? And watching Andor was like that. And if you enjoyed those graphic novels, well, not graphic novels, they're novels. They ain't graphic novels, excuse me. They're novels. Uh, if you enjoyed those novels and don't enjoy Andor, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, maybe you're just too scarred from recent Disney, Lucas films, but man, this show is, it's the House of Dragons in Star Wars, man. It's a lot of dialogue, but it pays off, man. And I cannot wait until season 2, man. Like when you got that scene with Andy Serkis as Kino, and they're breaking out of the prison one way out, and to see his look on his face, it's like I can't swim. When they finally make it to the promised land, and Andor's like, we made it. Let's go. Let's jump. And the prison that they're in is surrounded inside of a great lake, and he can't swim. It's just like, damn, bro. My man just went out hard, and he can't swim. So you know he dead because he can't go back in the facility because he's gonna be killed. He done told everybody over the intercom who he was. That's crazy, yo. But yeah, man, that's, some people say Andor ain't even the star of the show. This show does a great job of developing all its characters. The only character I don't care for is Karn. You know what I'm saying? They could have cut him and his mama and eating cereal with his mama out. But that also served the purpose about people who had compulsive disorder, who always got to go and always got to chase after something when it ain't your damn business What's going on, Falcon Pros? How you doing, man? And just being nosy. You know what I'm saying? You see them guys. They just all up in people's business. Don't need to, man. Go about your business. You know. But he gonna be the love interest of Deirdre, most likely in season 2. Yeah, man. I don't need Jedi and Sith to make it be Star Wars for me, man. As long as you give me a good story, and this is an excellent story, it's showing me the inner workings of how the rebellion started. The rebellion wasn't started by the Jedi, or was it? Because maybe Luthen is a Jedi. We'll see if that happens in episode in season 2. I think he is. But I'm so glad they didn't reveal that, because I'm so glad that this show is so deeply rooted and grounded. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about pew 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 pew. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's all about the ground workers. Oh yeah. And at the end it was so hard, man. When Andor mother passed away and they showed her projection like Leia, but up in the sky, with all the crowd and the townspeople were looking on Ferris. Now, if you watch that, she said, fight the Empire. But if you read her lips and go back, she said, F the Empire. But, you know, Disney wasn't going to let that go. Disney wasn't going to let that fly. You know what I'm saying? And in the context of Star Wars, fight the Empire is more representative of what someone would say in Star Wars. But yeah, they wrote it to say F the Empire. And then they start brawling. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Andor is that joint, man. Andor is that show, man. And I urge anyone that's on the fence about watching this show. I know it's about a prequel to a side story. I understand all that. Andor is what the Andor TV show is what Obi-Wan should have been in depth. That's what it should have been, but it wasn't. And while the end episode didn't, no, the end episode for Andor was magnificent. I was about to go into my Obi-Wan rant, but Obi-Wan was decent, but definitely a letdown for what it should have been. Obi-Wan should have been what Andor was in quality. And if they ever even think about doing an Obi-Wan season 2, they need to get the writer and the director of this. And this wasn't made by Dave Filoni. So what is it? Tony Gilroy, I think. Tony Gilroy, I think, who wrote this. They need to get Gilroy and have him write, and whoever directed this to direct it. Because this show felt cinematic. It felt like a big deal. And it gave you an overlooking scope on how oppressive the Empire was. You know what I'm saying? It showed you why people rose up and rebelled against the Empire. And not just because Obi-Wan Kenobi came back. Or he brought his young protege, Luke Skywalker, who 2 hours ago didn't even know about the Force and never left Tatooine. But don't get me started on that. We're here to have a good debate about this. Good dialogue. And I urge every Star Wars fan out there to give Andor a try. And I also will say, you need to binge this at like 3 to 4 episodes at a time. At the beginning, the episodes are short, like 27, 30 minutes. but then they get longer, like 45, 50 minutes, 52 minutes, stuff like that. So definitely this is a bingeable type show. So yeah, I would watch the since it's 12 episodes uh in this first season, I would watch every 4 episodes. If you want to watch 4 episodes, then stop, then watch it again another day, then watch the next 4, and then stop, and then watch the next 4. That's what I would do. So yeah, that's it, man. That's my review of Andor, man. It's amazing, man. It's a House of Dragons of Star Wars, and it's an amazing show, man. Unfortunately, it came at the wrong time, and a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, are kind of done with Disney Star Wars. I really don't blame them after the sequels, and then the blandness of Book of Boba Fett, which had, you know what I'm saying, Boba riding a Rancor, which was really cool. Last episode was cool. Last episode of Obi-Wan was cool. I just disagree with a lot of the writing, you know what I'm saying, in either show. But is Andor show? Andor show is it. So I'm about to get out of here, man. Appreciate y'all watching, man. If you like the content, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, ding ding, to get all of these videos. My wife sent me a text saying there's a Bel Air season 2 coming out, which I'm really surprised they didn't can that because I thought they was canceling Will Smith. So, all right, that show was pretty good too. Also, better than I thought it was gonna be, to be honest. I I don't know anyone that liked that Carlton. I think they picked a good Carlton, but Carlton fans hate that show. Like original Fresh Prince fans of Carlton hate that show. But anyway, it was the Star Wars interview review. I'll check you guys later.